Hello everyone, my name is John Butler and we're here at Bristol Academy, at the O2 Academy, and I'm here with Total Guitar, showing you guys all my guitars and all my stuff and how my world works, how my wacky acoustic Marshall loud world works. So yeah, come over here, we'll start with this. We'll start with all the guitars. I guess we should start with like the cornerstone of what I do, which is which is my old 12-string. This is a guitar I used to busk with and on the streets of Fremantle 15 years ago. It's still my go-to guitar. I've tried to retire it 4 times, even though I have 3 fingers, 3 or 4 times, and she still comes back. She's an amazing guitar, and she shows the years, and she has probably more, she's made up of more glue than wood, but she's amazing. And I play through quite a few 12 strings in different tunings. They're all the same setup. They're actually not 12 strings, they're 11 strings. I take the high G off because it sucks and it always breaks and it's not nice. It's higher than your high E, it's terrible. So I have 3 of those I run through in different tunings. That's usually an open C. I run this one in a lot of open Ds and some other G tunings. I run this one in a B tuning. And then I have my Bacon Banjo, which I play a few songs on, Better Than, Ragged Mile, Bound to Ramble. It's 1930s Bacon, it's beautiful. It sounds really good with the foam in it. And all these guitars, except the electrics, run 2 pickups, so they all have a magnetic. This one has a magnetic under there and a bridge pickup. And all my acoustics are running that. All my acoustics are running magnetic Seymour Duncan mag mic with the mic turned down, and then the bridge AP5 Maton bridge mic, bridge Pizio, I guess you can say. Last acoustic would be my National square neck lap steel. Same setup, really. This one actually has a mic in it. It runs off a mic and a magnetic. And this goes in everything from D tunings to G tunings to low C tunings. And then I have this really lovely Tele that I played Lemon on Me on. It's a beautiful American made Tele. It's actually a new one, and it's one of the best Teles I've ever heard. It's beautiful. And then on Flesh and Blood, my latest album, I use this guitar quite a lot. It's a Silvertone. Actually, this one's a harmony. But what's really special about these guitars, whether it be harmony, Silvertone, or K, they run this Diamond gold foil pickup, and they are just extremely hot and rude. And it is prone to feedback, but there's something just very special about them. They're very trashy, but fat. Give you anything from a country sound to a Black Sabbath kind of sound. So that's my axes. That's what I normally run with. And then you can come over to this world and you can see how it all works. So I guess we should separate the 2 worlds we'll talk about are acoustic and then electric. And with all my acoustics, it's both. An acoustic world and an electric world are running simultaneously. So we got a magnetic, and you got the bridge pickup. And first and foremost, we run through the DI system. I don't know, there's a radial DI system back there, and then it goes into this Midas 2-channel preamp. On this side, it's a bridge. That's my bridge sound. And this side is my magnetic sound. This sound, and I'm basically using this whole thing as a blender, like an old school fish. Well, it's actually like a new school Fishman blender, but it's a Midas 2-channel. Parametrics, equalization on each side, phasing on each side. And what I'm doing is I'm basically going out of one channel. I'm using 2 channels and then going out of the out on one channel, and that blends the signals. So, I run my When I'm almost on 50-50, my magnetic's just a little bit louder. My bridge goes straight in, no effects. My magnetic goes out of my guitar into my whammy, my tremolo, my boost, my phaser, my micro vibe, a kilobyte delay, my whammy, my wah-wah pedal. It's a Dunlop Q, auto one, into my head rush, and from there it goes into here. So my acoustic has all my effects. I don't know if it's on. Yeah, so my acoustics, you'll get off. Let's talk about the bridge. The bridge gives you this. My magnetic is a bit more of just like the core note kind of stuff. It's a bit more. My magnetic has all that. Then you bring back in. And you bring back in the bridge. You're gonna get this. You're always getting that bridge sound, so that's always cleanly in there. There's all the effects going, so that allows all the effects to be on my acoustic. Now, so after that, there's a bit of trickery in there as well. But simply put, that's the acoustic. Now out the back of this, I send just out of the back of this magnetic signal here, I send that to a tube screamer, into a volume pedal, and into a Marshall. It's usually a 100 watt JMP or a 100 watt JCM 800. So this whole idea, which is really important, this whole idea I in a lot of ways really based on a lot of it from a great guitarist in Australia named Jeff Lang. Jeff Lang was using 2 pickups and running his magnetic, Sunrise magnetic, he was running through this kind of setup to an amp. And I literally, when I was supporting him one day, I said, "Oh Jeff, oh Mr. Jeff, can I please do what you do, because it's so fucking cool." And he looked at me like I was a dickhead and said, "Of course you can." So when they're both running, you have same time I can bring my Marshall in any kind of timbre and texture I like. So right now I'm clean. Now I'm getting just a little bit of crunch on the acoustic. And then you can completely drown out the acoustic. So you can go from that makes your acoustic guitar extremely dynamic, and it can go to all territories, which is really fun. And as a schizophrenic kind of musician and somebody who wants to play folk and Sabbath all at once, this is the perfect kind of setup for me. Volume pedal is really good too, just because you can really control your feedback. It takes a lot of palm muting as well to make things like this kind of work at high volumes. Gas pedal in a car, you know, it's kind of like a gas. So that kind of also explains why this Seymour Duncan Magma, I don't use the microphone, because if I sent a microphone from this pickup to a Marshall, it would be absolutely hell. It wouldn't work. So I'll get all my microphonic and woodier sounds from my bridge pickup. That's more my rock and core note thing. There's some cool things that my guitar tech did though to make my world even more versatile, and that is I normally run through this Marshall, but I also run through a Fender DeVille. And so for some songs on this last album, especially like Bullet Girl and Young and Wild and a few others, I go through a Fender. And so he gave me this great little switch and plugged it all in very interesting ways that I don't understand. But I can go from my Marshall, and I can have my Fender on, which is obviously a different sound. And that made it really a lot more versatile. And then with this pedal, I can do this as well. So if I'm doing this, I'm in a chorus. That recorded sound where you have a Fender and a Marshall coming in for that second chorus. Okay. There's both buttons, so I can go. They're both going at once, which just kind of gives you more studio-esque kind of stuff where you're getting those two amps running different sounds. Gareth also did this cool thing, whereas if I was on my electric, so when I go electric, obviously I don't want to go through my acoustic stuff because, well, as you will be able to tell really quick, it's all right sounding, but electrics are meant to be going through amps to do what they do. It's a no-brainer, really. Anyway, so instead of going through that, I can go through just my Fender as clean as that first stage. I can still do the same thing as I do with my acoustic. I can have one sound. Awesome, make it clean. So let's look at this in the same way as I look at my acoustic. Here's my clean sound, my acoustic sound, or my clean electric. And I can dial in my Marshall the same way. I can make my clean dirty, but have this nice blend. So that was a really cool thing that Gareth brought, these little pedals and how all the different ways you can configure them to make all these different channels do different things. It's pretty cool. I don't really understand how he does it, but I really like it. I could also just run it straight from my Marshall, turn that off, and now it's coming from my Marshall through the tube screamer. I can go through just the Fender. This allows it to go straight to the Fender though. That's just straight to the Fender, not going through the tube screamer. Oh, whoops, sorry. Fender. Over the last, I guess, 12 years, I've been using Marshalls. I tried lots of different Fenders and Voxes to get my acoustic dirty sound, and they never had the grunt, or they pushed frequencies in different places. Voxes were always really muddy and MIDI, and Fenders just had a great bark but never enough solid bottom. Fenders just this Marshall just have kind of a thermonuclear kind of quality to them, which they just have power and headroom. So over the years I've kind of chased my tail with this 100 watt, trying to get the right 100 watt. Over just the last few months, we've really realized that I pretty much need about a JMP 100 watt running a 100 watt amp as well, or a 200 watt speaker box. That allows me a series with a lot of headroom. And I can get my crunch from a little bit from the preamps, but I get a lot of my crunch there because I want that crunch coming in lower volumes over that acoustic. But with the 100 watts, especially the JMP Super Lead 100 watt wood, it just gives me heaps of headroom, so I can really get the frequencies to the right place that I need them. It's a long story. It gets fucking boring, but when you go through the right amp in the right situation, it's a magical thing. At the moment, I'm getting my JMP set over from Australia because my JCM 800s are not doing what I need them to do. They're great, but for this schizophrenic kind of dual world, it doesn't quite work. So I'm tandeming at the moment. I got a 100 watt bass Marshall head behind there. That's giving me the power to my JCM 800. But normally I'd be JMP 100 watt Super Lead, hopefully somewhere around late 60s, early 70s. And then Fender DeVille, which is just kind of like the other sounds. Bullet Girl, Young and Wild, Living in the City. A lot of that was just done through this puppy. A Fender through a Fender, or the Silvertones through this, just give you a really lovely, when you're not wanting to be ballistically thermonuclear, this guy does so well. This guy has a lot of great tone and a lot of great color and landscapes that you can traverse. The reverb is beautiful on it. So yeah, those are the two guys I use, and this is my world. This is my place, my home. It's funny when people talk about tone. It's really interesting. There's a lot of thought that goes into amp tone and gear and preamps and stuff like that. But it's a funny thing that I was talking to a great guitarist in Australia named Josh Cunningham from the Waves. Now he has such a great guitar tone, and he uses like a Takamine with their great bridge pickup systems, which ends up, the guy who designed the bridge pickup systems for Takamine went on to Maton and did this like magnetic pole thing under the bridge. That's why these pickups are so warm. Blah blah blah. Anyways, what he said was, a lot of it's just in your fingers. And I remember hearing a story years later about a lot of people going up to Jaco Pastorius, the great bass player, and going, "How do you get this tone? How do you get this tone?" And he would tell a lot of the guys just to stick their head against the wood of the bass, and you'd hear it just right in the fingers. So a lot of times, all the gear just kind of helps get out the tone that's already inherent in the hands and in the wood itself. What I use to, what my other things I use, I use this is a Shure lap steel bar. I really like these ones because I can get really, when I'm playing lap, of course, I can get really onto the notes with this round head. And it has a good weight to it. I go in and out of using different slides, but what I find with the 12 string in particular is a thick glass slide has a better tone. Let's see if I can walk you through it. This is my first slide that I used to use busking. So this is a really thin copper slide. Hasn't been used for ages. Now this is my glass. And this is even a thicker one, but I find it so bloody heavy. So yeah, I mainly use this thing got, which is a wine glass, I think, a wine bottle. So I guess the other thing to do with the tone would just be I have fake nails. I've been using fake nails for about 15 years as well. And I make them really thick. They're probably at the thickest. They're probably about 3 mil thick. And because they're that thick, they have a certain amount of warmth to them, as opposed to say a thick plastic or even a bit of a metal kind of a banjo finger picking. Those picks that you stick on your finger that are quite trebly. These can be quite warm. Also can be really highly aggressive as well. Flat pick as well. Yeah, so those are the things I use with my hands. I like making lots of beds with E-bows, so like for the start of for the start of Revolution, sorry. Things like that, little fun, tricky things. And that's about it. I think you know about everything I do now. There are no more secrets. Not that there ever was.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Thank you.